Anyways, after you take out the lady, Guru Drew will come out and will try to stab you to death with a spear. Just jump kick him a couple of times and he'll go down in a heap. Level 4 has you on another highway level and you're getting attacked by rabid dogs and, oh yeah, more fucking barrels. Afterwards, you have to deal with motorcyclists who throw bombs at you, along with more barrels. The road splits off and you get to pick your poison. Pits or barrels! Near the end, you fight more dogs and birds and fireballs that bounce off the walls. The boss here is a truck that will try to run you over at the beginning if you're not low enough. And since they were popular in the first few moments of this stage, the truck will now throw out a ton of barrels for you to jump over. After a while, the truck will leave and you get to the beginning of level 5, where you will face off against the skull. No, not that one. I wish. But then we get this skull. Man, does he sound like the least threatening of the lot. After that, you proceed to level 5, where a lot of people's complaints about the game lie. Mainly that you're skating in the Amazon jungle, where there are no places where you can skate cleanly. After you beat off on more Violator goons, you enter what is known by many gamers as Bullshit Cave, where the ground will come where you're trying to skate through it. Now, it's not as bad as they think. If you take your time trying to get through it, it's actually quite easy. The next part, on the other hand, is worse than Bullshit Cave. It starts off with you having to go up and down these ramps, and on the side lie barrels coming down the hill. Just because you didn't get enough of them in the first 4 levels of the game. After all that, you reach these moving platforms that have the tendency to disappear off screen if you get too close to the edge while it's moving back. After that fun adventure, you reach the main boss, the skull. But first you have to take out some more Violator team members. Then, after you destroy them, the skull comes up from the sides on a jet ski and will try to run you over and throw grenades at you. How odd is it that Miss Georgia Haas at the beginning of the game was more manly than the other two? I mean, Guru Drew stabbed at you with a spear, and the skull rode a jet ski and threw bombs at you. At least Miss Georgia Haas just had the decency to use her bare hands to just slap you around. And he's also one of the easiest bosses. All you have to do is splash on him a couple of times, and guess what? He's done. Now we get to the final level. It looks like we have to face off against someone who looks like Buddha or something. The beginning of level 6 features the grand return of, you guessed it, barrels. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Where are the barrels coming from? Nobody is throwing them. They just spawn completely out of nowhere. In this game, I fucking hate barrels! Later on, you deal with the bad attitude goons once again. It seems like Jackson wants a rematch with you. Either way, it's just as easy to take down as before. Afterwards, you just defeat some firebombers and some random goons, and you reach my least favorite part of the game. Here, you start with some conveyor belts, and you have to be careful because one false move, and you're going into the spike pit. And trust me, you're going into the spike pit a lot. Anyways, later on you deal with some maniac minions, and then more conveyor belts, but now they have fire blasts coming from out of the walls to trip you up. A lot of people complain about Bullshit Cave, but this part is the biggest pile of bullshit there is in this game. I mean, you have to be pixel perfect in everything in order to beat this part. You know how long it took me to beat this part? 18 minutes! I'm not making this up. Here, take a look for yourself. Finally, got through it. Now, this next part deals with spikes on the ramp, and not to mention, barrels. On the other side, we get the pits from level 1 back, which is more welcome to me than the fucking conveyor belts and the barrels. After dealing with 3 of these things, you actually get to the final boss of the game. After some jumping, you deal with the violator vermin, which aren't that much of a hassle to begin with. Finally, you get this guy as your final boss. I don't even know who this guy is or what he's supposed to be. Anyways, once he goes for his big flip kick, attack him with either your splashes or jump kicks and he's gone. And now you've rescued the Commissioner Bill Griffiths Sr., not the owner as the game stated. And now we're treated to a report by Wally George, who looks better here than he did on the TV show. And yes, you get punished with some more horrible English. Then the game ends with all 3 good teams skating on the highway. This is one of the most frustratingly hard games that I've ever played. Not for its difficulty, but because of the crappy controls. You know, if they would have made this game more like the TV show, and tightened up the controls a little bit, maybe it wouldn't have been that bad of a game. But since it turned into a Double Dragon on roller skates, and they had all those fucking barrels, this is just a passable game at best. If you have like $2 or $3 to spend, this might not be a bad idea. But if you spent any more than that, then it's a waste of money. So, that's going to wrap things up for this review. I'm Dr. Robert Q. Solomon saying, cheers.